kind of life would that be? Oh, I need you.
Hello everybody, my name is Gainey, and I'm making this video because I think that everybody needs to know just how the North Carolina Department of Justice is treating terminally ill inmates. This video is about my dad, William Gainey Sr. He's currently incarcerated at Central Prison in Raleigh. Since he's been incarcerated, he's fought cancer twice. He beat it once, and now the cancer's returned, and it's to a point that it's terminal. While incarcerated, my dad has lost so much. He lost his mother, he lost his brother, which is like a father to him, and he lost his grandson. He's missed out on so much of his grandchildren's life, but it's to the point that I don't believe it's right to what they're doing to him. I have a letter here I'm going to read, and I want everybody to share this video and send it out and ask your friends to share it, because I want everybody to see this video. I want the world to know exactly what's going on with my dad. I want everybody to know exactly how our inmates in North Carolina are being treated, because it's not right. So this is a letter that my dad wrote me because he wants everyone also to know exactly what's going on. It says, on or about March the 11th of 2013, I started noticing a soreness in my throat. I filled out a sick call request at Piedmont Correctional, where I was housed as an inmate at the time. After about 1.5 months, they took me to an appointment at Charlotte Ear, Nose, and Throat. This was in Concord, North Carolina on Gillenhart Boulevard. My initial visit with this doctor, I can't remember his name, but it should be part of my initial DLC medical. But on my first appointment, I got examined. He noticed a spot on my nose and really seemed more interested in that, so he ordered me to start taking Zantac to see if the sore throat was caused by acid reflux. And he set up a future appointment to take the lesion off my nose and do a biopsy. So this occurred maybe a month later. At this appointment, I informed him that Zantac wasn't doing no good, so he ordered a PET scan done. So 3 weeks later, I went to Rowan Hospital and did a PET scan. And the information that the cancer had returned was back to Piedmont Correctional Institute. They called me to the medical station and informed me that my cancer had returned, and I had already had an appointment set for a follow-up to review the procedure that was done on my nose. When I went back to Charlotte Ear, Nose, and Throat in Concord, I had to inform him of my results of my PET scan. They set up for me to have a procedure did where he did a exploratory surgery to see where cancer was located and how serious it was. So in around a month, we set up a procedure at Charlotte Memorial Center in Concord. In about 3 weeks to a month, I had a follow-up at the office in Concord. He informed me the cancer was on my voice box and I was going to have a complete laryngectomy, but he did not perform operation, so he referred me to another specialist. So in around a month, I was sent to see Dr. Donald Camara at Charlotte Ear, Nose, and Throat Associates, PA at South Park, 6035 Fairview Road in Charlotte, North Carolina. He informed me that my cancer was quite serious, a level 3, and it would be a major operation to remove voice box and complete larynx. Also, I would have a trach hole in my neck that I would breathe through for the rest of my life. I was shocked, so he set up an appointment for me and Terry Gerlach, Director of Voice and Speech Swallowing Center, also at Charlotte Ear, Nose, and Throat Associates, so she could explain the procedure and how my life would be affected and to have former operation recipients available so I could meet someone who had underwent the procedure, and then I would come back to him and would discuss our plans. 1 week later, I was transferred from Piedmont to Harnett Correctional Center in Lillington, North Carolina. Upon arrival and initial screening with medical staff, the first thing I was told was there had been a mistake. I should never have been transferred, that someone dropped the ball and I would be going back to Piedmont. About 3 weeks to a month later, I was transferred to Albemarle Correctional in Baden, North Carolina. I went to see Voice and Swallowing Director, and she explained everything to me. So I told her yes, indeed, I would go ahead and do the surgery. So I'm waiting for surgery, and 2 to 3 weeks later was transferred back to Harnett. Once again, the medical staff was confused as why I didn't stay and get operation. It turns out because the director hadn't wrote the referral in correct place for follow-up, they didn't know what to do. Finally, around December the 20th, I was transferred back to Albemarle, at which point was placed in segregation in the hole because I told them due to previous operation for cancer in 2000, I couldn't get up and down off of a top bunk. So finally, December the 23rd of 2013, I was transported to Charlotte Medical Center and underwent a 6-hour surgery. I stayed at Charlotte Medical Center until January the 1st of 2014. It was upon rounds and hospital visits I was informed by Dr. Camerer. For first year, I would need to follow up for every 2 months, and second year every 6 months, and once a year after that. It was 10 months before I seen a doctor again. On January 1st, I was transported by ambulance to Central Prison Hospital Facility, at which time I was informed I would no longer be seeing Dr. Camerer or Terry Gerlach, and I would be transferring to UNC Chapel Hill. My first visit to UNC Chapel Hill, they wasn't even aware I was coming, didn't know who I was or nothing else. So Dr. Carrington, who was my doctor at Central Prison, who worked for DOC, set up an appointment to see radiation chemotherapy. However, Dr. Camerer had always informed me that radiation was not an option because I'd already had radiation in the past. When I met with the staff at UNC Chapel Hill for radiation, the first one I saw, which should be in file, agreed with Dr. Camerer. However, the second doctor came in and contradicting them both, I asked to see Dr. Camerer before we went any further. I even wrote a letter to him. The next I saw chemo, but they said it was sort of already too late and that they wouldn't recommend chemo without radiation. However, they noticed a spot that looked suspicious, so Dr. Carol Martin tried to set up me an appointment with an ear, nose, and throat specialist at UNC. There was also like a resident at ENT at Central Prison that was from UNC Chapel Hill, but she refused to see me because she said she was not qualified for the seriousness of my case. So around May 12th or somewhere closer, I was released from care and transferred back to Harnett Correctional Institute in Wellington. My first day back, I lost my trach tube that kept the hole in my throat open. I lay here in Harnett County for almost a month, couldn't breathe. The hole started closing up. A crust had formed around it, and I was sent to speech and language pathology at UNC Chapel Hill. Let me back up a little while. While I was at Central Prison, the only one I saw on a regular basis was Brian Campkey at UNC Chapel Hill. He installed a voice prosthesis. However, I had to learn to talk in a room by myself because they wouldn't take me back for speech therapy. So they sent me to him for new trach tube. He was very upset at the state of the trach. He said I should have died, and how seriousness this was, that I should have seen him immediately. So after I came back to Harnett, I had been noticing an ongoing pain. I've been noticing an ongoing pain. It was constant, and it was not severe at the time, but it was constant in the same area. I mentioned it to the nurse McCall and nurse Tracy. They said I should go ahead and fill out sick calls to be seen by ENT because it could be something serious. I did as I was told, but it seemed that no one was going to set up an appointment. So finally I wrote a grievance. And keep in mind, through it all, I wrote many grievances that should be part of my permanent file. So finally an appointment was set, but not to ear, nose, and throat in Charlotte, which was everyone at UNC Chapel Hill's opinion and referral. They scheduled me an appointment to go back and see the resident at Central Prison. Her first words were, "Why did they send you to me? We have already been through this and I can't treat you. It is out of my field." However, she was very upset that it was like August and I hadn't saw ENT doctor since surgery, and said with my symptoms I should have seen someone a long time ago. She said she once again was going to make a referral. They sent me back to Dr. Camerer at South Park, and she was going to keep track of my case, and she was going to fax her boss once again. I was told I should see specialists every 2 months. So finally, around September, they scheduled me an appointment to go to eye, ear, nose, and throat Charlotte Associates at South Park in Charlotte. Dr. Camerer, his words were at the time that PET scans were expensive. If I got worse, we would do one. They didn't believe I had, but he couldn't believe I hadn't saw no one. So he set me up with follow-up for 90 days. In the meantime, by the way, I've been transferred back to Albemarle by this time. So in November, my face starts to swell up really bad. So finally, they set me up to go back to eye, ear, nose, and throat Dr. Camerer. Sent me to CMC to get PET scan on the 19th of December. December 23rd, I was told PET scan indicated I have 3 spots of cancer, 2 in my throat and 1 in my upper chest. He referred me to do Levine Cancer Institute. About 3 weeks later, I saw Dr. Karizosas and said we would, and they said that we would try some chemo, and he had to find out from old records at UNC Chapel Hill if we could do more radiation. However, he didn't think we could cure it at this point. Maybe we can control it. So the next thing you know, I'm sent back to Harnett Correctional in Lillington, who once again are confused because I was supposed to be starting chemo at the Levine Cancer Center. It is now January 22nd. No one really knows anything. I've been through many struggles for pain medicine prescribed by ENT and oncologists. I've been put in lockup and segregation. I've been put in the hole for trying to get my pain meds. I believe I will die before they do anything. There has been an awful lot of movement from doctor to doctor, from camp to camp. I filed several grievances. If you speak to a Sergeant Leach and an Officer Gilchrist and Nurse Peters at Albemarle, I believe this will be honest enough to support facts, maybe. Call a John at medical at Harnett and ask him of my condition on the 19th of January while I was in segregation in his observation. He said I looked like death walking. It's been a long, hard struggle, and I just don't know. I'm just not sure how much fight is left in me. William Gainey, January 25th, 2015. DOC number 0139587. On approximately February the 10th, late at night, he was rushed to Central Prison in Chapel Hill. When he got to Central Prison, they rushed him to UNC Chapel Hill because his status was so severe they couldn't handle it. At 8:30 on the 11th, he was entered back into Central Prison as a regular inmate under no medical treatment. On February 16th, I was called and informed that he was in ICU. I don't know where, I don't know how bad he is or anything. Here today is the 18th, and I've been calling Central Prison for 4 days now, and I've yet to get any information. I feel like that my dad has been left in Central Prison to die. I feel like that no one cares, and I feel like that it's not going to stop until I reach out and do something. So I'm reaching out to all you, my friends and family, and even people I don't know, to share this video and let it be known what's going on. Don't let this cycle continue to go. I will repeat. I will post more and more every day to keep everybody updated. So keep a lookout for my blog. Thank y'all and have a great day.
But